Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Now, this time, we want to take a little look here at the comic book adaptation of Star Trek The Motion Picture from Marvel Comics. This is the magazine version. But before we talk a little bit about that, I'll talk a little bit about this. Oh, yeah, my book. I finally got my copies. Yay! Bizarre Brain Comics Anthology. My first comic book with humor, gags, and adventure stories. And hopefully some fun reading. And I want to thank everyone out there who has already bought a copy. Let me know. And I hope you all enjoy it. And I want to also thank everyone who has been subscribing to my channel. At the moment, I'm just a couple away from 700. So I want to thank all my subscribers and viewers out there. Now, Star Trek, the motion picture. This was the comic adaptation. This is the magazine version. That put it on the magazine racks, and this is from 1979. And the Marvel picked up the license for the franchise, and the first, I think, is 2 issues of that was also the adaptation of the movie. Just for a little comparison here, this, as far as I know anyway, is the latest Gold Key Star Trek comic that I've got. If I have any later ones, I don't know about it. This is issue number 54. The last Gold Key issue. This is from 1978. The last Gold Key issue was number 61, cover dated February 1979, which would have put it still on the stands in 78. And so in just a few months' time, we went from the Gold Key to the Marvel. I wasn't following it at that time. I had just joined the Navy. I was too busy going to boot camp, going to my Navy schools and traveling around and doing Navy stuff. And didn't get to keep up on too much on my book, but I did get this one off the magazine rack. Now, in this adaptation, this is of course from Marvel Comics. This is Marvel Super Special Magazine number 15, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, 1979. It was written or adapted by Marv Wolfman, with art by Dave Cockrum and Klaus Jansen, with some magnificent coloring work by Marie Severin, and this really, really great cover painting by Bob Larkin. I think this cover painting is better than the movie poster. Because this is really, of course, Bob Larkin did a lot of cover paintings. He did some cover paintings for some of the Marvel novels and trade paperback covers, Marvel reprinting some Marvel books, and a lot of the black and white magazine covers, most specifically Savage Sword of Conan. And this is, of course, a movie tie-in book. Which in the movie is a 1979 American science fiction film from Paramount Pictures, based on the classic TV series from NBC and produced by Desilu, created by the great bird of the galaxy, Gene Roddenberry. And it starred the cast of the original TV series and was directed by Robert Weiss from a screenplay by Harold Livingston, based on a story by Alan Dean Foster, who was the king of novelizations. Yeah. And along with Gene Roddenberry. And Alan Dean Foster, he wrote all kinds of novelizations based on movies and TV shows, and he wrote the entire Star Trek log series of books, which was based on or novelizations of the scripts from the animated series. And I have to say, it's probably the best I've ever read from him, because he really, really fleshed them out, added so much that was not in the original animated series. And this film was originally intended to be a TV pilot film for a Star Trek reboot series to be called Star Trek Phase 2. But with the success of Star Wars and Close Encounters, etc., Close Encounters of the Third Kind, etc., Paramount changed it to a feature film with some story and cast changes. And there are some hints of things that were later included into Star Trek The Next Generation, as well as some little things from other Roddenberry productions. Had a couple of TV movies, Earth 2 and Genesis 2, rather. Genesis 2 and Planet Earth. And I can't remember. Can't remember the name of it, about that android. That were also used picked up later in Next Gen. And there was at least one Phase 2 plot was used in an episode of The Next Generation. Now, they had some... This magazine is, of course, it's the same story. And I overall, I think it's probably better than the movie. Because I'm just going to assume that you have seen it and know the story, so I'm not going to... It's just unfortunate that they basically recycled the plot from a classic Trek episode for this film. That was their first big mistake. And then they tried to make Star Trek like 2001: A Space Odyssey. And that was their second big mistake. But from what I understand, their first special effects company just did a crappy job, and they had to hire somebody else and do all the special effects twice, which really, really raised the cost of the film. But they did some really nice work here. Unfortunately, Dave Cockrum is a really, really fine artist, and Klaus Jansen the same. But unfortunately, Klaus Jansen's inking style dominated over Dave Cockrum's nice pencils. But it still comes out pleasingly, as you can see here. But then, of course, unfortunately, only had one page here for that great Klingon scene at the beginning, and I feel kind of shortchanged. Klingon and then the Spock stuff. But they had some really nice coloring and printing effects in here. And I think they did a better job sometimes of telling the story than in the movie. This is really nice. Where's it go? This is dramatic scene, which they tried to do a 2001 job on in the movie, and I think it works better here. And this, when Enterprise is leaving dry dock, then you get all these effects here. Some really great visual effects, which in some ways helps convey the story a little better. I like the way they did the coloring effects for space and background and the like, and the warp bubble around the aircraft, the spacecraft right here, and the shields, I think is an improvement, which was later used in one of the later Star Trek movies. Spock arriving had some pretty good resemblances to the cast members. Here's another great, really, visual effects. It would be very difficult to try to conceive and depict these. This looks like it came from a spirograph. It looks really great. And such. And then of course, then they culminate here. Oh, yes, some more really, really fine effects in a scene that is altered. May have been from the original, like this way in the original script, but it's not the way it was done in the film. And then it concludes, and then they have some articles and a bunch of photographs and interviews and the like from the film. So this is a really, really nice package there, and I wish mine was in better shape. I've had to tape the cover back together again to keep it looking decent. So and as you probably guessed, I'm a big Star Trek fan, both of all of the series so far. I haven't seen some of the streaming ones, but. And I'm a Klingon at heart. Ha! Klingon Mach! So thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Share it with your other Star Trek friends. And do leave comments. What do you think of this comic adaptation compared to the movies? It wasn't the best movie, but it's still quite enjoyable to watch and enjoyable to read. So tell me what you think. And remember, comics are art.